What is going on? Periscope, Jay Beezy first to join. Jay Beezy's in the house. Show you who we have here. Balanced Canine Life. We got my man Echo here hanging out. Echo, say hi, bud. Sorry, I know you don't want to be bothered right now. What we're gonna do, hey, what's up? How's it going, guys? I'll show you where we are. We're in the Lower East Side of Manhattan. Got a couple things going on. Got the trains here. All right, this is the Williamsburg Bridge. All right, so I'm not sure if you can see that over here. So we're in the Lower East Side of Manhattan. We got somebody playing racquetball here. And what we're doing is we have him in the mindset that we pretty much need him in. I can get this, I can get, hey, that's not perfect, but welcome over here, sit. I can get soft leash pressure SITs. So this is something that's important that a lot of people don't do, is when they make the switch from going into a nonchalant kind of chill walk, what happens is they almost like unclip the leash, which represents something else. So walking at your side or behind you and kind of just hanging out, all of a sudden turns into, you just clip the leash, now it's time to go bonkers and crazy. So this is a dog that struggles with some pretty severe anxiety. Really awesome dog for the most part. Gets into a little trouble or a potential of trouble with dogs because of how much he's here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna walk into this park. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna drop the leash here, let this kind of hang. But right now, all that I'm looking for is I'm gonna stay in movement. So we're gonna create a socialization type environment. Now I know I have recall on him, so I'll let him kind of pee, but I'm gonna stay in movement because he has to check in with me. So he's behind that bush right now. I know he's peeing there. Let's see how this goes. And we don't expect, so we have all this noise. This is really good. Echo, let's go, bud. Good job. So I don't need a recall. I just need him to kind of stay with me, right? So let's go is our loose form of recall. It's just acknowledging, kind of stay by me. You can do your thing, but just kind of stay by me. This is what we're looking for. So we got the kids playing basketball. He's able to stray off. I don't mind right now. I kind of letting him do his thing, right? Yeah, it's really good stuff right now. Kids playing basketball. He's chilling. He's smelling. And I don't want to go crazy. I don't want to annoy him. I don't want to be like, you know, like, come on, you gotta come every single time. I want him to know that it's cool for him to kind of do his own thing. He actually might even poop right now. Actually, he's going to, so I want to move my leash out the way. Oh, look at his tail, the leash saver. Move this over. So, we won't to be continue this, but somebody recently asked for a video of how we walk dogs and we get them to, that's the beauty of Periscope, right? It's live. You guys get to see it raw and uncut. Somebody was asking how we walk our dogs and we get them to kind of pee and poop. And a while ago I made a video. It's a little bit old, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna post this on our Facebook page later on this evening. That way you guys can kind of see how we do it. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna find a garbage can, and as I decide to kind of head over this way, I'm gonna let's go him. Echo, let's go. Come on. There we go. Walk him on over this way. Got a garbage can over there. Yep. New York City's highest paid poop picker-upper. Fact. So we got this. This is a dog that might think it's cool to go in there. And then this is where I tell him, let's go, bud. Let me stay over here. So we're gonna go back and stay kind of on the same track. A couple things that are important. Actually, let's see if he's got some hops. You got some hops, bud? Hop, hop. Oh, I knew you had hops. I knew you had hops. Yeah, so I want him to know, like, I want to create a different level of trust, because if I need recall, Echo, here. Good boy, sit. We can have recall. But that's not what this is about. This is about just kind of hanging, right? Come on, let's go. And this is what we're looking for with him, and I think he's doing a fantastic job. We're gonna walk over to some more distractions. The second you get into grass and stuff, the smells and everything, all the dogs that have been here, all the odors, you know, the birds and everything, that's a distraction when you're losing the nose. So The same thing that he's doing now. See, this is the thing that's important. You have to know where you are with dogs. Sometimes you have dogs where everything is a distraction. Right now, this is no different than, don't pee on that leash. I think you got a little bit on it. This is no different. Like, this is all distractions. Every distraction falls under 3 categories. We have distraction of the nose, we have distraction of the eyes, we have distraction of the ears. You're not gonna encounter a distraction that falls out of that category. It will be extremely rare, because then you're looking at the other 5 senses, the other 2 senses that don't really qualify for something unless something's really like in his mouth. But even prior to that, it's a distraction of the nose or the eyes, right? So in like situations like this, if I know I have recall, right? Echo, let's go. Good job. If I know I have recall with him, then I can recall him away. Like if there was to be, actually there's another dog right there. So there you go. We're gonna tie into this right here. I'll show you. So as he's kind of walking and doing his thing, he hasn't seen it yet. He's seen it right there. I walk away. Echo, let's go, bud. Good job. Right? And the dog's over there. Can you zoom in on Periscope? Yeah, you can. Right? So if this is the big, totally like down him, right? Let me change the angle here. Like, but the thing is, I can just stay in movement, right? Sit. Good. Now I'll show you kind of what's going on here. You have a dog here just kind of hanging out. You can see his ears are kind of up. Echo, down. Oh, down. He's never down on this surface, so he's like, are you sure I can down on this? Like, it's a little not flat, but that's no excuse. I know he can down. Hey, down. Right? I'm not gonna like pressure him and be like, hey, what I say, he knows it. And I know he's downed on worse things before, so I'm just gonna help him. There you go. Once he's done it 1 or twice, he's like, oh, cool, I can kind of do the same thing here. And this is the attitude. The attitude is nothing changes. You've been doing this stuff. This is the stuff you do every day in a board and train. Sometimes it's indoors, sometimes it's outdoors. But now, let me switch this out. Got him chilling out. Got the other dog that was actually pulling pretty hardcore on leash. Such a shame when you see that. Distracted. And then we got the trains and the sounds and the cars and everything. Of course, because they're envious and they're jealous. They're like, he probably wanted to let his dog run, but has no recall, right? So like the dog that is off leash is mine. He can't really risk that. Unfortunately, I have a dog that for most people looks threatening, so he's not gonna let his dog off leash, which is perfect, right? So here, he's gonna come around here. Oh no, definitely, I wouldn't do this. See, that's the thing that's important to answer your question. He wouldn't be in this situation if we didn't have recall, right? So like right there, Echo, let's go, bud. There you go. So I can totally call him out of those things. I don't put myself or dogs, neither does my team, in situations that we cannot be in control of, right? Now here's the thing that's important. We want dogs to make decisions on their own. That's obvious. But at the same time, you cannot put them in a position when they're not responsible to make certain choices when you're going to ask for something and they have the option to flat out defy it. Now, assuming that you're fair with what you're asking, some things are not the dog's choice. It's not up to them. If they want to choose to engage in a dog for play or for fight, and I say otherwise is the priority, period, right? And here's the thing. We put dogs in situations where they're more comfortable making appropriate choices on their own, but it doesn't mean that they're responsible for making those choices on their own without our help, right? And I've used this example before. If my mother goes, hey Blake, you get to pick what you want for breakfast today, what do you want? And like I was the idiot that said ketchup and milk. I hate to break it to you guys, my mother didn't give me ketchup and milk. Was it the end of the world? No. She goes, hey, well, you're gonna get cereal. Next time, what I might do as a parent is I might make it easier for you. I say, what do you want? Do you want Honey Nut Cheerios or do you want Frosted Flakes? So I can help make the choices easier versus putting my dog in a situation to where they're going to choose ketchup and milk, which is an option that I'm sorry you can't choose, right? That's like straightforward stuff. People that disagree with that, then this is not the right Periscope, or I'm not the right trainer for you, right? We're looking for common sense folks, right? And that's it. And like I wasn't all like, I mean, pardon, I wasn't all like butthurt over it. It wasn't the end of the world. Like maybe if I was a brat, like which I probably was, like I threw a little bit of a fit. But I was like, I want ketchup and milk. But guess what? The follow through with my mother always. My mother follows through, so eventually I know how to ask, or rather my dad follows through, right? So if my dad said no, I knew I had to go ask for my mom. And there's you know, you get to read your mom and your dad, you know what they're serious about, what they're firm on, what they stick to and what they don't, and it's no different for us. So we got the trains and everything. I know you can't see it right now, but you hear the noise, right? This is great. It's no different for us and our dogs. We're like the dog's parents. We're like their pack. People gonna say dogs aren't pack animals. Yeah, they are pack oriented. They're not wolves. They don't function like a pack, but like that's not the point of this scope. But I mean, like, we need to be there to kind of advocate and show them how this world works. We don't live in the wild. We live in a human influence wild where we know what's best. So assuming that you're being fair, your dog cannot choose ketchup and milk. They have to choose something else. So if I'm going to give them two choices, I'm going to be able to enforce those two choices. But this is very important. They're also going to know how to make those two choices when I get to the point that I'm in this situation. Prior to that, we're teaching you how to choose those in a sterile environment inside. Less distraction, less this, and eventually we build up. And that's the big thing that's super important. Like when you talk about all these people that have like opinions on methods and stuff, is people will say, yeah, well, you know, I can achieve that with like positive reinforcement only or something like that. Hey, what's up, 911? How are you? And it's like, listen, like everything that we starts with a positive reinforcement based foundation. And yeah, you can teach pretty much anything with like positive reinforcement only, but when the dog decides to choose, they go, yeah, I know how to do that, and I'm great at doing it, but right now I don't want to, and you need the dog to do it, then what? And that can be very dangerous if you don't practice saying, hey, listen, we're going to do things from a dog tricks point of view. Dog tricks is, I want to do this. The dog wants to do this, right? Dog tricks is, let's say Ramiro just joined. Dog tricks is, Ramiro, you want to go hang out with your friends? Go make yourself a bowl of ice cream before you hang out with your friends, right? I don't think Ramiro is going to be like, oh man, I got to make ice cream first. I'm pretty sure he's going to be like, okay, yeah, no problem. I'll make ice cream before I hang out with my friends. Dog obedience. So dog tricks is fun. Dog tricks is something that a dog wants to do. Obedience can be fun. What's up, bud? He just jumped up here on his own. Obedience can be something that a dog wants to do. But at some point, obedience must be, you need to do this whether you want to or not. Right? And if you're not in a position to enforce that, then you have no say. If you have no say, good luck getting the dog to listen to you when you need it, because it's a serious situation and it's an absolute, right? So there has to be enforcement. Now, here's the thing. Dog obedience is not the above, I'm going to butcher that, the end. There's dog tricks, there's dog obedience. We did a scope on this before. And then there's real world application, real world obedience. You need to teach a mixture of both dog obedience and dog tricks. Dog trick like, in order to get real world behavior, right? Stuff that actually works no matter what, not just when it's convenient for the dog, and not just when the dog happens to want to make the choice. Obviously the goal is to set up training and create training where your dog wants to make the right choice more often, but unfortunately that's not always going to happen. There are going to be situations where your dog knows recall, but chasing the squirrel is more of a reward, and there's no consequence, and it's a choice. Even if you ignore, like reward the good, ignore the bad, I'm going to ignore that, and I'm going to reward him when he chooses not to chase it. You can do that all you want, but it's not teaching him that when you say don't chase it, that means don't. He might just decide to go do it, right? And then come back and then get the steak. Sometimes you need to teach dogs. There's some situations where I say, hey, I don't want you to do that, and the dog does it for a little bit, comes back, makes the right choice, I can reward it. But there's some situations where you cannot make the mistake first, right? Nature corrects. So more often than not, we have to put ourselves in a situation to understand that, okay, like if I don't do anything about it, nature in some way, shape, or form is going to do something for me, and nature's corrections 9 times out of 10 are way more harsh than the corrections that we're ever going to give. So I'd rather the dog be corrected by me before it learns the hard way, because sometimes the hard way is one shot and that's it. You know, if I have a choice and say, listen, you can't go smell that rattlesnake, and I don't want to teach the dog doesn't know how to take that kind of direction from me, and then I go, you know what, I'll just let nature do it, and then the rattlesnake bites, guess what, that's it, you learn the hard way. right? If I don't teach you that, if I don't teach you recall and you're chasing that tennis ball and all of a sudden that tennis ball is going across the street and you always listen to me, but in this situation you say, no, I want the tennis ball, I'm gonna come to you in a little moment, and then he gets hit by a car, guess what? Nature corrects, and getting hit by a car is much worse than what I would have done. So we have to kind of understand. Doesn't mean that I'm like doing anything crazy. Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. Comparing it to children is something that we do a lot, or just even friends and guests when you have guests over. So that's pretty much it, guys. I just wanted to kind of share this. We're gonna be walking back. I got some more dogs to work, and it's almost time to start feeding some of these guys. We're gonna have this guy. We're gonna have this guy do a little bit of work for his food, but I mean, right now he's kind of hanging and he's doing great and he's relaxing. This is a dog that was injuring himself in the crate. This is a dog that was like chipping teeth, breaking teeth, right, bleeding to get out of the crate, injuring himself, hurting himself. So we had to work on our structure to kind of relax him and make him feel more comfortable, and do a couple of other things too. But I mean, that's pretty much what we're doing. Yeah, man, we can, I'm totally down to do some bite work. Another scope that I want to kind of touch is going to be Soli and how we're working on her out or her possessive behavior and the unique situation that she's in. So I'm going to try to do that scope a little bit later on this evening. Hopefully you guys watch and you see how all the foundation is important for what the real problem is. That's pretty much it, guys. I'll see you on the next scope.